railway which has recently gained more widespread fame through a popular TV series, Heartbeat. In the yard at Gromont, the day's preparations are well underway. Polishing, coaling, and oiling all the essential parts are the preparations of a steam locomotive for its day's work. Lambton Tank number 5, in its shiny black livery, moves off to begin its daily duties. Number 5 leaves the tunnel which connects the loco sheds with Grom Station. Built in 1905 by Robert Stevenson for Lambton, Hatton and Joyce Colliery, number 5 spent all its working life hauling transfer coal trains over the colliery main line in Durham. In 1970, following the fitting of vacuum brakes and steam heating equipment, the locomotive was delivered to the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. And apart from a major overhaul in 1986, number 5 has seen regular service on the line since its delivery. At Grom Station, number 5 waits patiently for its passengers to board. The station at Gromont has 3 lines, all of which cross the road. 2 sets of crossing gates have to be used, providing an unusual feature to the station. Departing from the platform, number 5 slips as the powerful locomotive fights for adhesion. The Merck River is crossed before the tunnel brings number 5 out alongside the locomotive sheds. As the climb to its Gotham begins, both fireman and driver work hard to maintain a steady speed. Further up the valley, workers step aside at the sound of the approaching train. In places, there's an almost sheer drop of 100 feet to the valley floor, but at Darnholm, sleepy meadows next to the river provide an ideal picnic spot. Beaumont and Goatland, 1 in 49, is one of the steepest railway gradients in Britain. It replaced the 1 in 10 rope holding plan, which was in use between 1836 and 1865. Beaufort Station is the first stop on our journey, and number 5 crests the climb and coasts into the platform. The station was a standard northeastern railway station and has changed little since it was opened in 1865. Here we pick up War Department class number 3672, Dame Vera Lynn, on a Pickering-bound train. This 210 tender loco originally saw wartime service in Egypt.
The track now has to cross open moorland before entering and following the Newtondale Gorge. The gorge is 14 miles long and in places 400 feet deep, while the highest point of this bleak moor is guarded by the dramatic grey domes of Fylingdale. The train now sweeps down Newtondale and past the ruins of Carter's House. Travelling in the carriage is one way of taking in the scenery, but from a high vantage point in Cropton Forest, the magnificent splendour of Newtondale is laid out before us. Far below, the railway twists past Newtondale Halt. Accessible only by rail, this is an ideal stop-off point for walkers. Here, British Railways Standard Class 4MT, number 80135, coasts to a halt as number 5 passes with the return train. At this point, we're 9.5 miles from Gromont and deep in the Cropton Forest. Finally, the line emerges from amongst the pine trees to run into Levisham Station. The path and road from the station to the village of Levisham climb 300 feet up the sides of the gorge. A short walk across the moors from here brings us to Skelton Tower, erected by a local vicar to provide him with a quiet spot to write his sermons. Today, it gives one of the most famous views of the railway.
At the station, the barriers come down on the road crossing, marking the arrival of the train, which will take us on the final leg of our journey. Levisham is a regular crossing point for trains, and first to arrive is Gromont-bound Great Western Railway 060 tank, number 6619. Pickering, and the end of the line for the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. Although the track originally continued to Moorstown, what remains is still one of the longest and best preserved lines in the country.